Okay, so let's talk about a few common mistakes when preparing budgets and plans in business. As a CFO, I see this all the time. Questions like, I don't know where to start. Where do you start creating a plan? Do we start with sales? Do we start with our costs? Where do we start? Do we start with our targets or goals? I always say, start with a conversation about what it is you're trying to do as a business, where it is you're going, and start from there. Don't get bogged down in which number has to go on the page first. The second common mistake I see is a lack of collaboration when thinking about the budget or the plan that you've got. Collaboration is absolutely key across the business. Make sure that all of your business areas are represented to some degree in the budget or planning process. That means you'll take into account more opinions, more information, it'll be more accurate, and consequentially, when you actually deliver your plan or your budget, you'll get more buy-in from the business as a total. The third common mistake I see a lot is forgetting certain items in the budget, whether it's expenses or certain revenue streams that we forgot or didn't plan to take into the business. It's okay to forget small things, we always do. The approach to minimizing the impact of that is to make sure you have a little pot of items, or a little kind of finance pot for unexpected expenditure. So try to cover the small things with a little bit of an unknown pot, and have some flexibility for things you need to spend that you didn't think about throughout the year. But make sure that pot's not too big, otherwise you're defeating the point of having a budget or a plan. The fourth mistake that I often see when putting together a budget or a plan is that sales expectations, whilst they are coming from the right place, are often unrealistic. And I've seen it unrealistic too high, and I've also seen it unrealistic too low. The impact of having unrealistic sales forecasts means that the rest of the business is to some extent driven, because if we think about sales and what that means, sales often mean customers, customers mean work for everybody from the operations team to the people who are dealing with customers to the logistics people. So customers mean work. If we think we're going to have too much work to do and we forecast sales too high or unrealistically high, we're probably going to gear up our business to have too much resource to service those customers and to do that work. Not necessarily something we want to do, because we can't change that on a sixpence. Likewise, if we're too low with our sales forecast, we get the counter problem in that we've sandbagged or gone too low on our sales forecast, and what that means is we've had to take work out of the business, and therefore we've taken the money out of the budget to enable that work to happen. So we don't have the resources available to actually fulfill those orders when they come in. So a healthy dose of realism in the budget is absolutely essential when it comes to sales, in order to set the right tone and tempo for the business. The fifth and final kind of common mistake I see is not using the budget to benchmark against, to have a updating conversation throughout the year, and to reflect on as things change throughout the year. In business, things change on a daily basis. We all know that, and especially in small businesses, things can change very quickly indeed. It's really important when you put together a budget not to fall into the mistake of putting it in the top drawer or not referencing it throughout the year. The valuable piece is having the dialogue with yourself and with your team about things changing, why they've changed, what you're going to do about it, and how you're going to adjust to this new environment that you found yourself in. And if you can have an open and honest dialogue with the team, you'll get much better engagement from the team around the budget, the plans, and what needs to change throughout. So make sure you do those things when you put together a budget or plan, avoid those mistakes, and you'll be much more successful in your business journey.